I picked up the Klein Tools MM600 Multimeter from Homedepot. Personally, I wanted the MM700 as it has true RMS and a couple more features. Some of you are probably wondering, why didn't I just pick up a fluke meter instead? Well, it was the best one I could find that's new that's in my city. Okay, I guess I could have ordered one on the internet, maybe a fluke, but I didn't want to wait forever to get it. After messing around with this meter, I'm actually quite happy with it for basic things. I can say it's definitely a lot better than my Mastercraft multimeter. And that thing is a manual range multimeter. It doesn't even have continuity on it. I actually had to use my old analog Microfarad just for that. So this MM600 is far better multimeter than what I already have. Now that I got that out of the way, there is one other thing I do need to mention. I don't have professional instruments like some of you do on here. I will compare it to the Mastercraft one I have and some components that I have. Please note, I am not a professional and I don't claim to be one. So let's get started. Alright, so the first thing that you see is two AAA batteries. On the left hand side here we have 500 milliamp fuse. This is fast blowing fuse, and that one is a 10 amp fast blowing fuse. They're both up to 1000 volts. So this is nice. You can put your two probes in here. And there's a clip that you can get. It's a magnetic hanger that can come in handy. You can attach it to some breaker box, something that's metal, and it'll hold on to the meter. So yeah, you got your basic COM ports, you got your hertz, your continuity, ohms, temperature, diodes, and you can actually check out capacitors with that mode. Here we have two fuses, the fuses that are shown you in the back. So if you want to measure something that's fused, it's recommended to actually do so. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Just your basic features to that. Up here holds, you can actually freeze the screen, put it to man, select your modes and ranges. You get the idea. It's fairly simple. The back end here, it's got a nice rubber piece. So that way, if you want to, you can just set it up like that. Just set it all the way down. So, yeah, just basic. So it does come with a nice bag. Inside here we have a few things. We have some probes, which these things are supposedly supposed to be fused as well. So if your multimeter isn't working, check the fuses on there, and if they are fine, most likely this would be the problem. So you may want to check the multimeter with different set of probes. These ones are actually fairly nice. This actually helps you from not getting an electrical shock. You can pull them off, and it reveals more of the probe. There's a couple leather attachments here, alligator clips. You can actually just stick them right on there. You see that little hole right there? Just stick it right on in there, and it's push it into place. So it actually does hold fairly well. So that comes in handy. Before I get ready to set everything up, I just also want to note that these do have protection plugs right here. That way it keeps dirt from going inside of it. Unfortunately, that does not have it, but at least you can keep your probes clean. However, you're just most likely going to be putting it into your bag here anyway, so you want to keep your equipment nice and clean. So the first test I'm going to do is direct current up to 30 volts. I have both multimeters attached to this right now. I can definitely tell you that one's way more accurate than that one for this. However, this I'm not really sure how accurate that is. I'm going to be doing a review video on this power supply eventually, but this is how I have it set up. I do have some better leads coming for this, but yeah, it's coming off of there, going into these probes, and these probes here for that multimeter that are just attached to it. So that's technically how I have it set up. There you go. You can see everything. So right away we already see a voltage leak on that. So yeah, 13.3 millivolt. It's popping up a little bit right there. So I'm going to go ahead, turn up the amps just a tad until it flips over. I'll turn up the voltage. So I'll go to maybe 5 volts. So you see that it's fairly close on both of them right there. Let's bump this up to 10 volt, actually 12. So Yeah, those are fairly close to each other. This thing's off a little bit, so that's still not too bad. Let's bump this thing up to 18 volts. I can't go to 20 or I'm going to have to flip that thing over. Like I said, it's not auto ranging, it's manual, so I will have to do that. There's 18 on this, so we're getting 17.98 on that one, and pretty much the same there. So yeah, that's definitely off, but that just definitely shows you that they're fairly close to each other. Yeah, so I'm going to bump this power supply up to as high as it can go. I will bring it up to 20 first. See, it cuts off right there, so I'm going to have to flip it. Turn it right up to 32.5. So 32.2, 32, but I can't tell past that. So the next thing I want to do is test resistance. This here is a 100K resistor. There's actually two of them right there. I'm going to test with this multimeter first. Show you its resistance value. There you go. It's a little bit higher. 101.1. 101.01. Alright. So there you go. Not too bad. It's pretty spot on for both of them. And this one here is supposed to be 10K. Just under. 9.62. 9.6. It's not too bad. And let's try 1K on the Mastercraft. Spot on. Just under. For the rest of these tests, I am ditching the other multimeter and I'm only going to use the Klein. So we have a diode right here. Take a look at that. Right? Current is going to flow that direction to that. There we go. Let's show you the multimeter. So yeah. Will it work the other way? Shouldn't. Nope, it doesn't. So there you go. Not too bad for that. So the next thing I'm going to be testing is capacitors. I have a few used ones right here. Now, this meter is supposed to only go up to 1,000 microfarads. It won't go up to 4,000. So this here is a 2200 microfarad capacitor. So this should not work on this multimeter. We'll find that one out. I have a brand new one right here. I'm going to be testing first. This was actually supposed to go into my RCA television, but I had two extras, and I used one of them for that TV. So this one isn't being used by anything. So it's 680 microfarad capacitor. Let's put the multimeter into that mode. It says nanofarads at the top right there. Now there is a pole on here, so that's negative. The shorter lead is negative on this. Positive is longer. Let's see what that does. So it definitely detected its higher value. 669. Oh, it's rising. Well, that's very slow. 673. Yeah, that's a little slow. You'd be waiting all day for that. It's probably sending voltage into it, and that's how it's testing it. Although I'm not a professional, but that's just a thought. 678. It's close. Oh, it's still rising. Will it make it? It's just shy off one digit. Huh. Oh, there it is. Oh, now drop back down again. Now back up. I'm actually kind of curious. Is that actually cream voltage? Let's see if it is. So that's exactly what it's doing. It's putting voltage into the capacitor, I'm sure. Okay. Well, that's kind of a bad test. You'd be waiting all day for testing your capacitors. Alright, so this is the 2200 microfarad capacitor. Now this one definitely shouldn't work. That's technically one of the reasons why I wanted the 700 version, but yeah, I would have to order that one. Alright, so let's see. Yep, it won't detect it whatsoever. So yeah, if you're looking for anything higher than 1,000, this meter is definitely not for you. So this one right here, we have a 470 microfarad capacitor. Now this is used, so I'm sure the value isn't going to be exact. I think values do drop when they've been used. So 470 roughly. This is going to be another one of those slow ones that are going to slowly rise up. Alrighty. And we've got two more to test. This one here is a 100 microfarad capacitor. And these leads are getting really short. Oh boy. So going for 100 on that. 105. It's dropping. So 105-ish. Still acceptable range. This one here is a 22 microfarad. This one actually has a little bit longer leads. Makes life a little more easier. 20.61. It's dropping. Alright. Still dropping. Okay, so, well, there's capacitance. Not too bad. Definitely good for smaller things, but nothing higher than that. If you are looking for anything past 1,000, this meter is definitely not for you. I'm actually kind of curious about these resistor trim pods right here. I'm going to flip you back over. I do have it backwards. Alright, so that's as far down as this one goes. Actually, let's turn on this light, that way you can see it too. Turn you off. There we are. Let me adjust it. A little higher. Since I'm in this mode, what I'm going to do is flip on over to diode again. I want to test this little red LED. And then I'm going to blow it up and then test it again. Just cuz. So 1.792. Yeah, roughly around there. 1.79. Let's blow this thing up. Let's turn you up to your respectable voltage. 2 volt. That's 3 volt. You can see it light up. And now let's burn it out. Wow, 9 volts through the LED. God damn. Still going. Look at that. 12 volts in an LED. Okay. There's 20 volts in there. That thing's dead. That was crazy. Sacrificed an LED just to test this. Alright, so you're probably waiting for continuity testing. I did kind of push that one back for a while. So let's do that. Let's flip you over to that mode. It's very responsive. If I can actually hit the probes. There is one other thing I want to test since I have it in that mode. I will test my bench power supply here. Might as well, right? That's not going to work because it's going into plastic, so that we do have one in the back right here. Now it ain't going to work on here. But we can look at what it's given off. So yeah, works really well. There you go. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to test amps. What I'm about to do, definitely don't do. You can either destroy your multimeter or blow the fuse. But I'm going to flip you over directly to 10 amps. I'm going to go against that fuse. I'm not going to go up to 10 amps. Screw that. I'm not going to risk this multimeter. I just got it and I need to use it eventually, right? So I'm going to connect it directly to here. So yeah, like I said, don't do this. You can even wreck the probes. Most likely I'd probably burn this wire out before I'd ruin that. Alright, let's turn you on. Put it to DC. So there we are. 1 amp. 2. So it's off a little bit. 3. I'm not going any higher than 4. Actually, yeah, let's just do it for the heck of it. 5.6. Wires are getting warm already. They're pretty crappy. Yeah, you get the idea when it comes to that. Alright, now I'm going to connect it correctly. This thing here is now a part of the circuit. So what's happening is the voltage is coming out of here. It's going to this red probe into the multimeter and is bypassing the meter. But this is where it gets measured. When it bypasses, it goes right into this wire, which leads into this motor and then out into power supply. So you kind of get the idea. It goes directly from here, in here, and then out to there, and then out back into there. I want to turn up the amps a little bit. Let's turn up the voltage. Turn it up. Just kind of hold this. It should rise as soon as I do that. There we are. It's still spinning, I'm just slowing it down. Here, I'll stop it. Try to keep it steady. That way you can get some of a reading here. So this is actually going to be the last thing I'm going to test. I'm not going to test hertz, but I'm going to bring out this little probe here and just plug it on in and just kind of show you somewhat of a temperature here. So this is what I meant before. Stick it over to the Fahrenheit or Celsius. Is set default by Fahrenheit first, and then you go to plug it in. 78.6, and that is in Celsius, which 0.5. So yeah, that's roughly about the temperature here in my room. This seems to be about the same temp. I don't know, maybe a little bit cooler. Will it actually test it? It's rising a little bit. It's probably because I'm holding it. Well, that's no good for testing. Yeah, I guess holding this thing is not a good idea. Look at that. How about up here? Can you hold it there? Touch it? Yeah, it definitely rises like that. My batteries have been quite warm in my light from my camera, so I'm just gonna stick it in, see how warm AA batteries get. Well, they're fairly warm, and it's still rising. Flip that over to Fahrenheit for everybody else that wants to see it. That's fairly warm for AA batteries. Here, I'll just pull the light off, that way you can see it for yourself. Here it is. So I did a review on this thing, but my god, these batteries get really warm. Let's turn you on. I've had these batteries get so hot that I was afraid that they were going to explode. This light isn't that good, which I'm probably going to do another video on this thing to warn people if they do buy it. Apparently, yeah, it's either getting, it's going up still. That's pretty crazy, huh? Alright, that's pretty much it that I'm going to be testing. Oh yeah, I could. Yeah, let me test this. See, I can put it on hold. It'll stop there. I can let go of hold, and it just drops right back down. You set a minimum and a max. Let's go to. I gotta unplug you first. Now let's flip you over to voltage as an example. You can set. There we are. Took that out. You set from auto to manual, range. So yeah, it's pretty much basics for a multimeter. There's really nothing much to show you on that. Hopefully you enjoy the video. Hopefully I didn't botch it too bad. But yeah, definitely neat little meter. Let me show you how the probes sit in the back, because I didn't do that yet. Yeah, they just sit in there like that. And if you're curious about this machine, I'm going to be doing a review on this. I'm just not going to do it just yet because I got on a skilloscope, just a little project skilloscope that I need to solder together, which will be a video on its own. And when I get that up, I want to actually test the waveform on this thing, see how noisy it is. This is not a linear, this is a switching power supply, so I expect there to be lots of noise. Hopefully not that much, but yeah. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Please rate, subscribe, and see you on the next one. Enjoy.